By and large, I find that college players a lot of times just don't make great decisions when choosing an agent. I find a lot of times they choose guys based on some stuff up front that has very little consequence on what their careers could become, has very little consequence on someone that's going to give them great advice and a great plan. It's more of a take what you can get this very second if it has zero bearing on your career. It's funny because when you go hire a lawyer, someone who's supposed to give you great advice, or you go see a doctor, it's not about that. It's really about what's the plan to get you better, to save you from losing a lot of money, from going to jail. And I think that players really benefit taking that mature approach. And I feel that a lot of agents prey on players knowing that they're going to be super enticed in their 22, 23-year-old selves. So the advice that I can give to a player that's considering hiring an agent is really simple. What's the plan to make me better? What's the plan to get me in the best possible position with these NFL teams? And how have you done that in the past? How successful have you been? And who recommends you? And are you going to give me the best attention and the best representation that I deserve? And I've found that players that approach it that way generally have the best results. So a lot of players ask me a lot of questions all the time about their grade with NFL teams. Just to give you a quick overview, since I'm working on quite a bit of that tonight, is there are two reports that start in the spring before a player's senior year. There is the National Scouting Report and there is Blesto. Different teams belong to different reports, and actually some teams belong to none of them. And Blesto and National send representatives from NFL teams, one of each, to every single college essentially in America, big or small, to weigh guys, measure them, and sometimes at smaller schools to actually see how fast they run the 40. And then from there, they kind of do an initial grade on several players, and that forms the basis of the National and Blesto report. From those grades, each individual NFL team will use that kind of as a starting point, and then the area scouts for each and every NFL team will start coming through during a player's senior year in the summer and during fall camp, and begin looking at that grade, watching the player in practice during fall camp, then watching the player during the entire fall, and grades change. The area scouts may agree with the National or Blesto grades, may write a totally different report. They'll dig into a player's history, his injury history, his character history. They'll try to talk to his coaches, academic advisors, several people in his past to get an accurate look at a player's mentality, how hard they work, how they handle adversity, how intelligent they are, look at how long their arms are, how big their hands are, how well they'll jump, run, look at their tape to see how well they play, how flexible they are. So that really kind of forms the basis of a team's grade. From there, there's the national meetings in December, and those national meetings are the different representatives from the national report. A committee of high-ranking NFL officials vote, and ultimately those form who goes to the NFL Combine. About 300-ish players. 2/3 of the players that go to the NFL Combine ultimately get drafted. 1/3 don't. About 30, maybe 35 players every year that do not get invited to the Combine, but simply have their pro day to work out at, get drafted. And so when players ask me about their grades, that's kind of how it works. So as an agent, I'm trying to find out, obviously, which players are good enough to play in the NFL. And a lot of what I'm doing is talking with my friends in NFL scouting, looking at National and Blesto, and trying to get an accurate depiction in April who's going to be where, which is tough to do given that it starts out a whole year before and the grades can change radically like a stock. So having someone that's connected and really knowing what they're doing and experience is paramount to trying to figure out what your grade is, because it varies team by team by team, and it can be all over the place at different points throughout the process. So just be aware. A lot of times, particularly later in the week, on Thursday or Friday, depending on my travel schedule, I use the evenings and during the day, depending again on my schedule for the day, to look at different relationships that I have with potential marketing, product placement, and endorsement opportunities for my clients. I'm reaching out via email or other sites like LinkedIn to try to get a sense of where we stand with certain relationships, maintain them, and see if they're good fits with my clients. I try to do it, a couple times a week, and even talk to my clients on certain things that they may want to do, whether they're product placement, whether they're monetary, whether they're social media based. And so I try to keep very abreast of different trends and different things that my clients, may be highly interested in. I'll show you one of the particular ones I'm working on right now that's kind of cool. There's a company out here in Utah called Nomadic. They make these really cool travel backpacks, and I'm working on a deal for one of my offensive linemen in the NFL that I think would be really lucrative for him to kind of be one of their ambassadors. And so this is something that I'm constantly working with. He's abreast of kind of developments, and we're working on it to kind of progress to get to another point. Just got an interesting deal with a company called Chrome. They do these other travel bags. I got a couple right here for my running back, the Vikings. But as a client grows, so does his marketing opportunities. A huge component of what I'm doing too is giving guys social media advice. A lot of these deals are contingent on obviously how big of a star they are in the NFL, but also their engagement level, their amount of followers on Twitter, Instagram, and other spots as well. So as I look to really help my clients grow their money off the field, this is one of the ways I do it. Sure, a very insignificant amount of NFL players will see huge marketing dollars, but it's possible that if the client's big time enough in the NFL, he's got good social media and marketing advice and a plan, and is willing to kind of really do some things a little bit outside of a normal person's box. But that's what makes up a large portion of what I do constantly for my clients. So again, one of the cooler parts about coming to college games is the opportunity not only to talk to the players and maybe potentially rep later on, but also the opportunity to talk to NFL scouts, player personnel, and get a great assessment for who's legit, who's not, and things that may help you in your representation of players later on. So here, Provo, Utah, out the alma mater, got to see Washington play BYU and get a good sense for, again, relationships, who's legit, who's not, and also always get to watch a great college football game. So tonight, obviously, I'm watching Monday Night Football. I've got a guy on the Bears. I'm also working hard on a couple other things for clients. Had the Seattle Seahawks reach out to me a little earlier on a guy that worked out for them today. They're looking to probably sign him in a couple weeks. They need some things to clear up for them. They've got to sort through some roster issues, but pretty common day for me. Working on endorsements, getting guys healthy, and working out again in the NFL, dealing with my partners on different matters relating to clients, working on college recruiting, looking at different players that I may be looking at. I'm sitting here, going over all these different spreadsheets I got here that I've been working on. Calls set up throughout the evening with parents, with coaches, with potential college players. It's always a grind, but what you see here, what you see going on all over here, is pretty representative of a normal day in the office for me. So, agent life, my friends. Agent life. So another day at the airport. Normally I fly Delta, but today flying Southwest just because it's the fastest and cheapest flight I can get down there for my very short stay in Phoenix. Going down for a meeting with some of my partners and a meet up with a prospect. But another fun day here in the Salt Lake City airport. So just landed here in Sky Harbor in Phoenix. So I've got my favorite here, my Mountain Dew, my Diet Mountain Dew, and getting ready to meet up with my partners here at my company here in Phoenix before we head off to our meeting with a potential client. But gotta love Phoenix. For some weird reason it's rainy here, which it never is, despite being like 90 degrees. But welcome to beautiful Phoenix. So here in beautiful Tempe tonight, about ready to catch my Uber after a great meeting with my partners here. But it's about 90 degrees and you can't ask for much more here in Arizona. Thanks, my man. Finally back here after my nearly couple-hour meeting here in Phoenix. I thought it went pretty well. I thought folks were pretty receptive. Overall, the partner's been on it, but prospect looks really good kid, and we're excited for you know, his future. But yeah, back here at the good old Sky Harbor Airport, back to Salt Lake. It's another day. So finally back here, Salt Lake City, as you can see. But funny story, on my flight, scout for AFC North team was on it, and we were talking shop pretty good about all the prospects here in Utah. He's out scouting BYU, Utah State, Utah, and it's always good to talk shop with these guys. Good idea if you're on the right player or if you're screwed up. So one of the reasons that you're out and about is you bump into people, and if you bump into people and make connections, you're going to be in a good position to be successful. If you don't, that's a lot harder. So good news to people that are trying to build their businesses: be out and about, be making connections, and you're going to be in a good spot. So just walking in the door, it's 12:30, 7 a.m. Finally back from my trip to Phoenix. I'm tired, I'm ready to go to bed and start it all over again in the morning. But it was a good trip for sure. Got to recruit a nice player that I think is going to really work out. And one of the greatest things is on the way back, like I said, I got to meet with a scout for an AFC North team that I'm really good friends with. He's the West Coast scout, and go over the player that I just met with, talk about some other players here in Utah, and get some good assessments on a lot of things. So if you're out there grinding, good things are going to happen. You're going to put yourself in a position to succeed, which is half the battle. So I'm going to peace out. Good night.